The inauguration of President Obama was on Sunday this year because by law he has to be sworn in by the 20th. So there was a private swearing in of Obama on Sunday the 20th, and then on Monday the 21st was the public presentation of the inauguration. Here is a video of the private session that was done on Sunday. And in this video, I'm going to show you some things, but I want to explain them, a couple things before we get started. And one of them is, like here with Obama, you'll see the discoloration in his skin, around the eye, down the side, part of his chin, and so forth. That's part of the shape-shifting deal that goes on with these people. And if you notice with his mouth, you only see half of his mouth being open, or half of his mouth with the lips showing the separation between the upper and lower, and then you have this indentation on the side. This is one of the rare things that happens with Obama himself right here. And then you come over to Michelle, and then you see along the nose and the eye and so forth. Also, she has discoloration. But you notice her skin is more of a scaly type skin right here. And this is also part of what happens when these demonic individuals are going through their transformations or trying to maintain their human form. And as you can see over here, the discoloration in her skin also, and the difference in this eye here, which would be her left eye, and her right eye here. They're completely different. Now we go back and we look at his eldest daughter, and you can see also again discoloration throughout her skin and so forth. People say, oh, it's the reflection of this and that. It's not the reflection, because if you come back to Michelle, she's past it. Obama's nowhere near it. But you go back to her, and you can see the difference in her eyes also. Not just her eyes, but her eyebrows, the side of her face, how it's distorted on the side here. This is all part of not being able to maintain the human form, and also possibly the failure of the holographic images that they try and project over these people so that you don't see this stuff. And you can see how her mouth comes over and down and around and curves up and around. Now when I start this video, what I just noticed was his younger daughter coming out. Now there is a evil, that is sick looking. Look at her mouth. Look at her nose. Look at the whole side of her face is all turning green down to her neck. Even on this side of her face is green, so the reflection can't be coming off the wall. This is on the opposite side of where all the green color is. It's right here. Look at her two eyes. You only see one eye here. Okay? Now we're going to follow them through as they get into position, as he starts before he starts the oath. But watch his eldest daughter here and what happens to her face as she's just walking along this short distance. And I'll do this frame by frame. See what's going on here, folks? See this eye? Look at this slit right here. And one of the distinct marks is this little black mark. Sometimes it's a lot more visible. Usually shows up around the eyes. It usually shows up in the corner of the left eye, but it's usually a little more visible than that. But if we keep going and we're watching, you can see what's happening to her face. Over here and over here. See all this? This is not shadow. This is not shadow or anything. And the contour of her face, or the edges of her face here, seem to be fuzzy. And here goes a little dot here, all of a sudden pops out. Here comes her eye over here popping out, while this one's closed shut, and then down along in here. All kinds of different things happen to these people. You say, oh, that's just normal for who they are. No, this is not normal. That is not normal for anybody. Okay? You can't convince me of that in no way. So we're just going to keep watching, and actually, as they start to walk, I'm going to zoom out. You will see what looks like a trail or a disfiguration or I really don't know how to explain it, but I'm just going to play it and let you see for yourself. And maybe you can help me understand what it is, because I'm going to stop this in a second and I'm going to show you something when they get in, just before they get into position. Right about here. What happened to her face? What happened to her face? What happened to Michelle's face? Okay. Now, take a look at the youngest daughter's arm. Look how long that sucker is. Almost all the way down to her knee. You stand up and put your arms down at your side. Okay. And you tell me that's a normal shape of an arm right there. And it's not. Where's her hand? Where did it go? All this stuff goes on. And this is inside the White House the day before the public inauguration. And you see this fuzziness that's going on here between them and behind them and so forth. That's one of two things. The holographic projection that they're trying to put on them to hide what what's really there, or it's part of the entity that's in there. Now my eyes, okay, you're probably gonna laugh at this, but I see a little arm right here, and then I see two eyes right here with the nose and a mouth. It's barely visible, and I'm going to focus in on it just to give you an idea what I'm talking about. Right there he is. Then you got one sticking his head out right in here. Let's get a little closer to this guy and see what's really there. Don't look at it close up. Lean back in your chair and then take a look at it. And tell me what you see here. To me, I see two eyes, a nose, and a mouth opening here with an arm. Okay, where's her face? You don't see her face. It's gone. You come over to the window, and you got something that looks like this right here. Now that, I don't know about. I'm not even going to make a comment on that. But this one here, this image right here, that's weird. So let's focus back out, because I know I only got a short amount of time to do this video, and I'm already halfway through. But you notice this blurriness follows them, and it trails behind them, even with them as they're moving along and so forth. His eldest daughter, as she turns around and looks, look at her face. Look at her face. Zoom in on her, and she's going to move around a little bit. Where's her face? Where's the youngest daughter's face? It's gone. Look at her face. Look at this eye bulging out. Where's her mouth? Look at all the disfiguration in her face. Same thing with Michelle. And we're going to move on. Maybe I'll have to do this in two parts. Look at that eye. Look at his face. You going to tell me that's a human face? And that's just normal? But as they go through the inauguration, she just stands there. And she moves slightly. I'm going to pause it for a second. There's one of the moments you see her eyes. Like this one's all the way over here. This one's facing all the way out this way. And this one looks like it's bulging out. But they keep their arms and their hands out of view because they're constantly changing. And you don't see much going on here. If you look at Obama's hands, look at that. That is not normal structure of hands right there. Does that look like a normal face for Obama? Look at his ear. Look at down around his chin and his mouth, his nose. Everything's just not, it's just all a miss. So let's come back over to his eldest daughter and watch what happens to her. And you're going to see a lot of these. Look at this. It's a good thing. I'm glad I don't know how to Photoshop and stuff like that, because no matter what people think, I know within myself and that what I see is what is here. And I don't need to try and trick anybody into anything, because who am I really going to fool? All I can do is show what I see and tell the truth. Now Obama's starting to take his swear in, but just watching her face for a little bit. Then I'm going to show you what happens to her hands. I'm going to have to pause both of these and move forward to her hands when she goes to hug her dad, if it's really her dad. But look what's going on with her. You're going to tell me this is some kind of computer glitch that only affects people's faces in their physical form all the time? I don't think so. Whoops. That goes into... Okay, I had to stop it for a second so that you could see what happens when she goes to hug her dad. I'm going to back out a little bit so we can catch her hands on his back. And we're going to show you what they look like. Even as they're coming up, you can see they're not normal. And they always have a greenish color to them. Look at these fingers. Look at this. And it looks like got little claws sticking out the tip of them. Same thing here. You're going to tell me all these computer glitches only affect the physical parts of people and nothing else in the video? I mean, you come over to the curtain, looks fine. You come up to the picture, it looks fine. You look out the window, of course, you're just going to see a white sky. You come over to this, looks fine. But you get to the people, they start to look a little funky. She's not so bad right now, except for this one eye right here, which is abnormal. You got her face, you got Michelle's face, but her hands is the key here. And for some reason, this hand constantly, you constantly lose the space between the fingers. But if you look at the tip here, it looks like a claw coming out the end. Same thing here. You got 1, 2, 3 of them. Fingernails, no. We're going to take a look. Fingernails, no. Look at all of a sudden this one's clipping down. Look at her pinky finger coming out and then pointing up. Holographic failure, trying to hide what's really there. Look at the length of her fingers, the discoloration in the tip of her fingers, all the way back along the side of her hand here, all in here. This is not normal for a hand, folks. That is not normal. So then we move on. I got about a minute and a half to go here. And I don't know, I don't remember if anything comes out of his daughter's, his youngest daughter's hands, but we're going to take a look anyway. Let's stop it right there. Whoops, I'm going to back up just a little bit. Look at this. Yeah, that's all normal, huh, folks? They're normal human beings. Not Michelle. She don't have to shapeshift. I always thought she was ugly anyway. But take a look at Obama's ear here. Look how it's far out. It looks like it's coming from the side of his head, and then the tip of this here. Yeah, we know they point out a little bit at the top, but look at this gap between there. Less than a minute to go. Bingo! Look at them eyes. Look at them eyes. Yeah, that's all normal. Take care. God bless, people.